Well, it seemed like there's a new air scare almost every day. Engine covers tearing off, wheels falling off, doors blowing out midair. Remember, we had the gentleman who took this chilling video join National Report just a few weeks ago, talking about how he was scared for his life in this moment. Air traffic controllers have to be on their toes now more than ever, but apparently their capabilities have been in question for a while now.
And it's because of headlines like these about diversity, equity, and inclusion hires having a lot of frequent flyers on edge. Look at the headline here. Failure is not an option. FAA's DEI hiring practices could endanger passengers, GOP AGs warn. And FAA slammed over targeted disabilities hiring goal. Let's bring in Matthew Douglas Cook, an air traffic controller who says he was denied a job under the new DEI hiring criteria. Also, William Trachman is a general counsel for the Mountain State Legal Foundation. Gentlemen, thank you both for being on, and we do appreciate that. William, I'll actually start with you because you're representing 900 FAA applicants who are part of a class action lawsuit who say they were denied jobs. Can you talk about the constitutionality of the FAA's hiring process in this time we're living in?
Well, unconstitutional and illegal under Title VII, which is a civil rights law that applies across employers throughout America. We represent over 900 folks who passed and were about to become air traffic controllers, and then the FAA decided the hiring pool was too white. And so they flushed that test and adopted a new test to racially gerrymander the hiring pool.
You know, you're referring to what we were just showing there, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Specifically, a government agency may not disregard the outcome of a race-neutral hiring process unless it has a strong basis in evidence to believe it will be subject to disparate impact liability if it fails to take the race-conscious discriminatory action. Matthew, you're here with us now. Talk to us about how you believe this applies to your personal application.
Yeah, so back in 2012, I decided to go to CTI school, which was one of two avenues that students could, or potential candidates could take, either the military or go to school. So I went to school, as the FAA had mentioned on their website. I 4-0'd my program. I got 100 on their entrance exam. Right after I graduated, the FAA decided to change their hiring process and implement a new test that I could not pass, and I have yet to be hired by the FAA.
Questions surrounding the FAA's hiring practices do date back to the Obama administration here, when a skill-based system used for selecting and hiring air traffic controllers, it was revised to include a biographical questionnaire that would be looked at before applicants would be even eligible to take the skill-based test. Matthew, can you dive back in? I'll go back to you on that and even more into your personal experience with this.
Yeah, I still don't know why I couldn't pass the biographical questionnaire. I still don't know why these changes were made. You know, the industry was going through a massive overhaul with hiring, which was one of the reasons that I went after the profession. But, you know, they laid out the path that I had to do, or that I had to take to become an air traffic controller. I accomplished that, and then they changed it to this new biographical questionnaire that I, for some reason, was unable to pass.
Matthew, can you just go back in time, maybe refresh, talk to us about maybe some of the people in your class in this training program here? Were they a bit more diverse when it comes to race? Did they end up getting the jobs?
It's hard to say, you know, who did and did not get jobs. You know, I can speak on my personal experience. You know, I got 100 on an aptitude test that would help with placement for becoming an air traffic controller. And there's very few kids and students, you know, prospective candidates that have gotten 100% on an aptitude test. And, you know, for me not to be able to pass this new biographical questionnaire, which I understand was to make the candidate pool more diverse. When you go through change, there's going to be some inherent risks, and you know, those risks are could potentially extend to aviation safety as a whole. Whenever you're introducing something new like that.
All right, definitely more questions. We're out of time here. We appreciate William Trachman joining us, as well as Matthew Douglas Cook, again, shedding light on what's happening with air traffic controllers. A lot of folks weighing in, even including Elon Musk on X. The Biden campaign launching